Rehan, let's talk about the 3 days that have gone by. After the 3 days that we have played, the only thing that separates the two teams is 2 runs. First innings, England scored 387. Second innings, India also scored 387. India were looking on course for a 450, 475 total until the last ball of before the lunch, where Rishabh Pant ran himself out. Obviously, not a good thing to see as a Indian supporter, but we both can agree with what Pant was trying to do. He was trying to get KL back on strike so that he could get the 100 before the lunch break. But Ben Stokes, being Ben Stokes and the athlete he was, he just threw the ball and it hit. I mean, you can't do such, like, can't do anything about such stuff, but like the game has to move on. But it was great to see Ravindra Jadeja stitching couple of important partnerships with Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar. Three important all-rounders, all sticking around for a majority of 30-35 overs and draining the England bowlers, which could come in handy come the fourth innings. Rehan, let's start directly with it. At the end of day three, there's nothing that separates the two teams. Let's talk about day four. Before that, if you want to talk anything about day two or day three.
Yeah, the first day itself, I would say it was like a blockbuster on the Hello Turf of Lords, where you saw Root scoring a brilliant 100, Bumrah taking a fifer. So everything seemed well, and the score could have been a little less if India had bowled well. I thought Bryden
Correct.
Cars played a really good innings.
Yep.
That was a good fought innings by Bryden Cars. He bats decently, but I still think that we could have probably tidied up our bowling a little and got them out under 350.
Also,
But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No, no, I completely agree. Yeah.
having said that, India started off decently. I mean, with Rahul taking charge and of course Pant being there with him. But I think Pant also ran out of patience,
Correct.
which he should have shown, being the matured player that he is. Uh, but then again, see, KL Rahul got 100 and then he got out. He did not carry on and make a daddy 100 or
Yeah.
go on to make a big score. But as you rightly pointed out, the three all-rounders, that is a useful contribution, and that would be a deciding factor going forward to day four.
Exactly. Yep.
As in the last two test matches, you have seen first innings have almost been cancelled out by each other when either teams have batted first.
Correct.
So we are actually seeing a replica of the first two test matches.
Okay.
But I think day four would actually define where we see the result of this game.
Exactly.
I think England would be looking at a similar score, somewhere
Yeah.
around 400,
Yep.
close to that, because see, we are almost a couple of days left and they would want to have a result.
And talking about day four, the first 3 days combined, if we combine the number of overs lost, it was around 30 overs today as well, only 78 overs being bowled. One thing I can say about that is pathetic. Tomorrow as well, with the amount of heat, with India, you might just see 83, 84 overs being bowled because you have Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar. So you might see a lot more of them bowling of their bowling tomorrow. So think from an England perspective. You saw in how Indians have batted throughout the series. You you rightly mentioned that they would be looking for a score of around 400, but obviously they would also like to bowl at least 7-8 overs tomorrow towards the before the stumps. So you're looking at day five completely for India's batting and 8 overs tomorrow. So let's assume 85 overs and 10 overs, 95 overs. A target of 400 does sound good enough for England. Do you think that firstly, can England manage to score 400 tomorrow itself within 80 overs? For that, I think they'll have to score at a run rate of 5, which would be difficult because India's spinners will be bowling. Bumrah is back. And secondly, Shubman Gill has learned from the first match. He would have a lot of in-out fields, restricting the run of flow so that at least he can eliminate one result, that is India's loss.
See, the pitch, if I talk about the wicket, it's not like the ideal Lord's wicket.
Correct.
Look back at a couple of weeks where
Yeah.
where South Africa and Australia played the World
Yeah.
Test Championship final. It's a very different wicket, I would say. Somewhere where it's easy to score runs.
Yeah,
Although the bowling of India has been great with Bumrah taking the lead, just that Akashdeep was not impressive in the first innings, I would say. Uh, but yeah, there's nothing much with the wicket. Let's see if we get enough turn. And if that's the case, then I think Jadeja would play a major role tomorrow.
yeah.
But
You
yeah,
read a
I
stat that said that
hmm,
Joe Root got the maximum amount of turn of either of the four spinners that were used in the match on day three. I mean, that is some mind-boggling numbers. You expect Ravindra Jadeja to overturn that stat in his favor tomorrow, right?
yes, yes, definitely, and he will do it. Concern about overs being lost and the ball losing its shape.
Yeah,
I mean, that's something to ponder upon. I think the match referee should intervene and take responsibility and charge. And I think he would penalize either captains for this.
correct.
And it's a long term debate and discussion about the Duke's ball when it gets soft. I
Yeah,
mean, it's good for the spinners because you
it's
get
not.
good turn.
It's not as good for the spinners as well because when the ball is hard, it spins more. Eventually, 5 6 years back, when the spinners used to come into bowl at the 30 over mark, they used to get more spin. Right now, it's like when they come into bowl around the 28th 30th over mark, it is like they are bowling with a 45 overall ball, man. I mean,
Correct. So I think that that's a long term debate. I think they'll have to look into the other alternatives that are there. But having said that, I was not impressed by the wicket that was made. I still think that it's like the Edgbaston wicket where
hmm,
batter are having more
yep.
say in the test match rather than the bowlers, and you want an even contest. So let's see how day four turns out to be. But they'll have to score quick runs if England are looking for a result. Otherwise, they would be playing for a draw for sure.
And let's talk about your predictions for tomorrow. Eventually, where do you see India batting at stumps on day four? What score will England declare on or get all out for? Whatever. What's your prediction?
My prediction is that England would get close to 350, and I think India will start off batting tomorrow, maybe for a couple of overs or more. And let's hope
Yeah.
that day five goes in favor of India, which I think would be the case because I don't see Shoaib Bashir be that lead bowler if spin plays a major role. Nothing against him, he's very young, he's just 20 years old, but I still think that he is very raw and it will take a
Correct.
lot of experience for him to become that bowler that England are looking at. They see potential in him, that's why he's playing in that side. But I think huge advantage to India. Just that if they bowl really well, it can no man, it can happen, right? They can be bowled out for 200.
Yeah.
You never know if
Yeah.
Bumrah and Siraj bowl really
Bumrah,
well.
Jadeja as well. Jadeja, for that matter, he can
Correct.
pick up Ben Duckett, and a lot of things will rest on how Ben Stokes plays tomorrow because that number 5 6 7 will be eventually be your aggressors that will push your score from being 250 to 350, right?
And I think there would be a very I would say insightfulness when Zak Crawley comes to bat
Yes,
because all eyes would be on him. He has not got a score in multiple test matches
correct.
and it has a lean patch.
Yep.
So I think apart from Ben Duckett and Ben Stokes, I think all eyes would be on him as well because a major responsibility is at the top. You're also looking at Ashes going forward.
Yep.
So they are looking at a formidable lineup and Zach Crawley should be amongst the runs. That's what I'm hoping.
So your prediction for tomorrow, how much will England score?
350.
350.
I told you, right?
And
350.
ठीक है चलो let's talk about the day five predictions tomorrow. For me, I think India should target getting them all out for 250. But I think India can chase anything around 325, 330 mark. Anything above 350 would be very difficult given that even we know that this match a lot of points will get docked from their WTC points. So it's an important match. You can't afford a draw with where you got only 2 points and you got docked 4 points for your over eight. So it's important that you get 12 points. And I think in this new era they will go for the win irrespective of the total. So. Yeah, I think England somewhere around 300 at the end of day four, and India batting at around 30-35 for no loss. No loss totally depends on Yashasvi Jaiswal and not on KL Rahul. So that is one thing. And for me, tomorrow's important battle will be Ravindra Jadeja versus Joe Root, because Joe Root would be what Kohli does in an ODI. He will hold one end up so that he England are sure of at least one result of them not losing, whereas the other batsmen like Jamie Smith, Harry Brook, and Ben Stokes can just come and swing their bat around. So it's important that you don't give him easy singles. You tie him down, let him score at a strike rate of around 50, because of which there's pressure on the other batsman to score at a much faster rate, that is 80 or 90 strike rate, and then you can get wickets maybe. A lot of things depend on if and buts. So let's come back tomorrow at the end of day four to see where India lies and will they be able to go for a win or not. Anything more to add, Rehan?
I think that sounds perfect, and let's hope that there is a result. It doesn't turn out to be a draw.
Yeah.
That's what we are hoping for.
We've seen the last two matches as well going into day five, so I think this also would go into the final session of day five. The weather looks set. There's no rain, but there's a lot of heat. Expect at least 5 overs to be lost tomorrow, and if England bowls at least 5 to 8 overs on day five as well. So with that, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let's reconnect tomorrow at the end of day four.